Hello, Melissa. How's it going? So I'm very excited to go through the songs with you. First, we'll start with Our Last Kiss because that is. I think that I'm gonna work with your longest stuff to your shortest material that you sent me. So let's start. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up Last Kiss. Okay, wait, that wasn't that. Okay, Our Last Kiss. Okay, cool. So first of all, I have on my sheet right here. I have pros and cons. Um, just listen to it for a second. Do you like my apartment? Cool. So, one thing that I'm going to go back to a couple times throughout this little recap video is the idea of your voice tone. Is just it's nice. Like I've talked to you about it before, as far as it actually being very very musical, but it's just too similar along the length of the entire song, and when you listen to all these songs together. I think what you need to kind of exercise is this idea of just being able to present it a little differently, like almost think of it like a character. When you listen to a lot of songs, um, it's a voice, the character of that song will change in from part to part, and it will kind of like represent different musical the musical theme, really, you know. And so with this, with your tone, it's very much like this idea where it's just really like, you know. So, and I mean, like my voice, like for instance, my voice is incredibly dynamic, almost to a fault with the laugh. Sometimes it scares people. uh, Not even joking, but that is something that you can kind of work with, though. You can work with the tension, be a little bit more, you don't have to be like a theatrical with it, but you can create more of, like, you know, speaking soft and speaking in a certain tone, or you know, just making the sound a little more present and harder, and you can kind of bounce around with that. I find that that works really well. um, Let me try and play just a little something because we need to kind of go over this, okay? So, I know a girl who thrills me. What shall I say so you know? So right there, I'll have my kind of quiet tone, my Melissa tone, and I know a girl who thrills me, and I'll go into this like whole breathy thing, and so that's almost like switching right there. You know, I'm combining two elements in one part, and it makes it a lot more dynamic. And then maybe I'll tag on at the end of this line, you know, this chord progression, this line, I'll tag on just something even slightly different, just to kind of keep it moving, right? So, I know a girl who thrills me. What shall I say so you know? Make it really hard, you know, just like switch it up. It's more dynamic. I mean, like, obviously you're actually developing a style, and that's why I'm talking so long about this. And I really like it, but at the same time, the style needs to breathe, and it needs to come alive and be a little bit more engaging and active. So that's just right off the bat. So I kind of missed that interlude there, but I really like that. I really liked the interlude that goes at the pre-chorus, that little like 2 bars that go into the first chorus, because it's cool. It really signifies, you know, that something's happening. You know, kind of like the same idea I'm saying with the voice. You know, it's like pushing it forward, but it's connecting, and it's kind of like saying, like, you know, things are changing, and here's where they're going. And then as soon as it's short enough and perfect that as soon as you recognize that, then it starts, then that, you know, what it says, like, okay, something's gonna happen, and you're like, oh, what? And it's like this, and it's it works perfectly. I'm super impressed. But yeah, keep. Really good lyrics. Again, though, because of the tone, sometimes I lose a little bit of hearing what you're actually saying. So pronunciate just a little bit more. But yeah, super musical though. You've taken a lot of what we've worked on together. The pause there, the like strum or less, and going back into it, super musical. And that's it. You want to look at it like a pattern. If you follow like the same pattern, voice and guitar, and if they're the same exact rhythm, it's super. It's predictable. It's really like one-dimensional music. So, but like if the music's doing something and the voice will continue, and then they'll both come back in, like you could explore that even more. So a lot of people do that in the verse, which is kind of like a little bit harder to explain. But I want you to open your stuff up, and I think you can do it like easier than you think. So for instance, like so I'm not using a capo, but okay, I'm making this up off the top of my head. So you know what I mean? Like, look at how musical that was. It's like I'm a whole band. Whoa. But that is kind of that's obviously very stylistic example. Most people wouldn't write a song like that, but anyway, you can do a lot with playing those elements. And again, with your words, though, it's your sense of stacking imagery. It's very strong as songwriting. So like it's just really great to listen to from like as a fan of music from my side, just because it's like one image after the other, and it really works very well. It doesn't get muddy. The imagery doesn't get muddy, and like it's very clear. I thought that could be a little bit longer. I don't know. Yeah, there's something in that where I think. Wait, let's just pause the song. There's something in that kind of. It's almost like a bridge. Or I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say. It went by too quickly, but let's just go back. Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe you gotta make something a little bit longer, draw it out. It seems like you have like a series of those stops, where you just drum. Although right there, this is gonna be a long video. We're already at 9 minutes. So although right there, that was like kind of what I was waiting for, because a lot of those stops were, they became predictable in the sense that they're the same length. So that's hard to say though. That's hard. That could just be preference, but I did make a note of it, so maybe take another look at that. But I love what's happening here. Here. because you can get a sense of build-up happening, which is awesome. A lot of people don't write that in songs, even after writing songs for years. It's like a tension happening, like it kind of went up and then went down, now it's going like up again. No, if it was in a band, if it was performed with a band, that's the place like that's when it would all this break and the sound would just like just explode like a dam bursting. So that was cool. It's nice that I always like I'm a fan of that kind of dynamic of like that excitement. I don't know, even though it's still an acoustic song, you can feel it. It doesn't matter if it's acoustic. It doesn't matter if you're playing with a flute. You know what I mean? Just by yourself, it's that sense of like how you're building it and then how you're kind of playing with the listener and then eventually how it releases. So that's really good. And your guitar killed it there. You know, with getting you can feel the tension because you're playing harder. You're not just playing louder, right? So that's the concept right there. Not just louder, but harder at the same time too. And that creates a different tension and a different character, like what we were saying before with the voice. So we need to kind of like execute these ideas to really get. It's just about getting the most out of it, you know. I like the length of it too. What is it, like 4 minutes and 3 seconds or something like that? Oh, 4:40. Works. So a lot of times you want to cut stuff earlier. You know what I mean? Make it. Don't draw the audience out for too long. You know, shorter is actually better. You know, in the sense that if you don't have anything to say, then you know, stop saying things, right? Although you hit a flat note there, which I think is great. That high note's really nice. Toronto. Alright. Overall, a very impressive song. And when I heard it, when I really listened